What if the woman who loves the beast is not selfless, but starving? What if Belle's walk into that dark castle was not an act of sacrifice but of recognition? You have been told it is a love story. But beneath the tale of beauty and transformation lies another story entirely. One about why empaths, especially INFJ empaths, are drawn not to safety, but to shadows. Not to the man who offers comfort, but to the one who needs saving. This is not about romance. This is about the hunger to be seen, and the price we pay when we mistake someone else's darkness for our own belonging. You know the story. Belle, the outsider with her nose in a book, trades her freedom for her father's life. She walks into the castle, into the dark, and does not flinch. And we are told, this is love, compassion, courage. But there is another story beneath that one, a shadow story. One about why empaths, especially INFJ empaths, are drawn not to the kind, safe man in the village, but to the one who roars, the one who hides, the one who needs saving. This is not a romance story. It is a story about recognition. Belle does not belong in her provincial town. She is too much. Too bookish, too strange, too awake. The villagers see her, but they do not perceive her. Gaston wants to possess her. Her father loves her, but does not quite understand her. She is alone in a crowd, and that aloneness is not loneliness, it is a kind of famine. When Belle enters the beast's castle, she enters a place that mirrors her inner world. Enchanted, isolated, full of beauty and ruin. And in the beast, she finds something she has never found in the village. She finds someone who is also unseen. Carl Jung spoke of the shadow as the part of the self we reject, hide or deny. The beast is shadow made flesh, rage, grief, isolation, monstrosity. And Belle, the empath, sees past the fur and fangs to the wound beneath. She sees him. And in seeing him she feels, perhaps for the first time, that she herself might be seeable. This is the first layer of the shadow story. The empath does not fall for the beast in spite of his darkness. She falls because his darkness is legible to her. She understands it. And understanding, for someone who has never been understood, feels like love. The beast does not ask Belle to see him. She chooses it. She brings him into the light, tends his wounds and softens his rage. And with every act of care she becomes essential. Not decorative, like she would be to Gaston. Not peripheral, like she is in the village, but essential. For the INFJ, especially the Sigma INFJ who has spent a lifetime on the margins, being needed is a dangerous drug. It transforms isolation into purpose. It makes the outsider the heroine, the one who can do what no one else can do, the one who holds the key to another's transformation. But here is the trap. The beast's need becomes Belle's identity. She is no longer the girl with the book. She is the girl who saves. And if he heals, if he transforms, what does she become then? The empath does not only see the beast, she needs to be the one who saves him, because in saving him she proves that her strangeness, her depth and her sight have value. That she is not too much. That she is in fact exactly enough. Fairy tales teach us that love transforms. That the right woman's kiss, the right devotion, can turn the beast into a prince. And this is true in the realm of symbols. But in the realm of lived experience, it is only half true. Belle's love does not transform the beast. The curse is broken because the beast learns to love, not because Belle gives endlessly. The transformation is his choice, his work. Belle is the mirror, but she is not the magic. Yet how many empaths have believed otherwise? How many have stayed in the castle long past the point of enchantment, waiting for the man who roars to become the man who kneels? How many have given and given, believing that if they only see him clearly enough, love him purely enough, he will finally change? This is the deeper wound. The shadow side of Belle is the belief that her love is alchemy, that her empathy is a spell. And when the transformation does not come, she does not blame the story. She blames herself. She was not patient enough. She did not see deeply enough. She did not love well enough. The castle is not safe. It is volatile. The beast rages, withdraws, softens, and rages again. Belle never knows which version she will meet. And this unpredictability creates a kind of emotional weather that, to the empath, feels like aliveness. Intensity is not intimacy. But to someone who has been numb in a world that does not see her, intensity feels like waking up. The beast's moods become Belle's focus. His darkness becomes her mission. And the adrenaline of navigating his inner storms becomes the pulse she mistakes for connection. The INFJ empath, starved for depth, will often choose chaos over calm. She will choose the person who makes her feel everything, even if what she feels is pain. Because pain, at least, is not emptiness. Pain is proof that something is happening, that she is needed, that she is alive. And so she stays in the castle, not because it is good for her, but because it is vivid. There is an archetype older than Belle, older than the beast. It is the wounded healer. The one who, through her own suffering, learns to mend others. Jung knew this figure well. He called it the healing power of the wounded. But there is a shadow side to this archetype. The wounded healer who has not healed herself will seek out wounds in others, not to exploit them, but to externalize her own pain. To make someone else's suffering the site of her redemption. Belle sees the beast, and she sees herself. She sees the lonely child beneath the roar. The one who was cursed for something beyond his control. The one who does not know if he is a monster or a man. And she believes that if she can save him, she can prove that she too is savable. The empath who falls for the beast is often running from her own beastliness. Her own rage, her own isolation, her own fear that she is too much or not enough. She projects her shadow onto him and tries to heal it there. And when he resists, when he does not transform, she experiences it as her own failure. Her own monstrosity confirmed. Belle enters the castle with a book in her hand. A symbol of her inner world, her imagination, her autonomy. But as the story progresses, the book disappears. Her world narrows. The beast becomes the plot. His redemption becomes her arc. This is what happens to empaths who fall for the beast. Slowly, imperceptibly, they stop being the protagonist of their own story. They become the supporting character in his. Their dreams shrink to fit his wounds. Their voice softens to soothe his rage. Their boundaries dissolve, because boundaries feel like betrayal. The INFJ who falls for the beast does not lose herself all at once. She gives herself away in small increments. A choice here. A silence there. A boundary she does not set because she does not want to hurt him. And one day she wakes up and realizes she does not know who she is outside of his need for her. She has become the enchanted rose. Beautiful, essential, and slowly dying. But here is the truth the fairy tale does not tell you. Belle does not need to stay in the castle for the curse to break. The beast's transformation is not dependent on her captivity. It is dependent on his willingness to love. To choose vulnerability. To let go of his rage and his isolation and step into the light. And Belle's transformation, her fundamental transformation, does not happen when the beast becomes a prince. It happens when she remembers that she is not the savior. She is the girl with the book. The girl who wanted adventure. The girl who walked into the castle because she was brave, not because she was meant to disappear. The shadow side of Belle is healed not by saving the beast, but by reclaiming her own story. By recognizing that empathy without boundaries is not love, it is self-abandonment. That seeing others does not require unseeing herself. That her depth, her strangeness, her outsider soul, are not tools for someone else's transformation. It is her own magic. Her own castle. Her own enchanted life. The empath who falls for the beast must learn to see herself as clearly as she sees him. To turn her gaze inward. To ask not what he needs but what she needs. To stop waiting for the curse to break and start living as though the spell was never real. Because the spell was never real. It was only a story she told herself about why she had to stay. So here is the reflective challenge. If you are Belle, and you have been living in someone else's castle, Ask yourself this. What would you do if the beast did not need saving? What would you choose if your empathy was not required? What story would you write if you were not the supporting character but the heroine of your own tale? The answer to that question is the door out of the castle. And it has always been unlocked. If this story found you, if you recognized yourself in Belle's footsteps, or felt the weight of that enchanted rose in your own hands, I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, have you ever been Belle? Have you walked into someone else's castle and forgotten the way out? What was the moment you remembered you were not the savior, but the heroine of your own story? Your words matter here. This is a space for outsiders, empaths, and those who see too much and feel too deeply. Subscribe if you want more of these shadow stories, more myth and psychology woven together, for those of us who have always lived between worlds. And if this resonates, if you felt the famine of being unseen in a world that does not speak your language, watch my video, Why INFJs Feel Like Mermaids in a World That Breathes Air. There is more to explore, more castles to leave, more magic to reclaim. I will see you in the next story.